scoreboard.
This game day update is sponsored by Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Cole Bartimus. We've been waiting all season long for 12 o'clock on November 29th, and we are almost there. Only a little bit of sand left in that hourglass until number 1 Ohio State and number 15 Michigan kick off the newest chapter of the game. We got pregame coverage right here on The Fan all morning leading into the game. If you missed it last night, there were 3 ranked matchups in college football before Saturday even started. There was a big one in Austin as number 16 Texas delivered number 3 Texas A&M their first loss of the season. Texas now sits at 9-3, and we'll have to see how the committee handles them. And because A&M lost, that opens the door for number 4 Georgia to play in the SEC championship game following their 16-9 victory over number 23 Georgia Tech last night. Low-scoring affair, but the Bulldogs controlled the entire game. And in the duel in the desert, number 25 Arizona finishes 9-3 after taking down number 20 Arizona State.
Do you smell it? The fine aroma of a soon-to-be Buckeye victory and Rothman searing his brat. Intoxicating. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis & Associates. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid. And by Mountain Dew. Here for the good times. Do the do.
Live from the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino, here's Tim May, Dave Biddle, and Anthony Rothman.
All right, here we go. Morning, everybody. The main event is almost here. Ohio State, number 1 in the country, against number 15 Michigan. And the phrase that's been floating around my show and every show this week is, it can't happen again, right? Like, I feel like that's it. And I want to ask my guys, as I say good morning to Dave Biddle and Tim May. Good to have you fellas. The set is beautiful right now. We got one helmet turned upside down already, which is good. How much, and I'll start with you, Dave, how much of the last 4 years have you allowed to impact any of your thinking about today's game?
Definitely a decent portion, because I think Ohio State's the better team, like, across the board. Even at every individual position group, I think Ohio State is better. Now, some are very, very, very close, and you could argue that Michigan is better at certain. But I think Ohio State is clearly the better team. So if not for the last 4 years, I'd be a lot more confident right now. Now, I am kind of confident Ohio State's going to win, but because of that, and that if you're a Buckeye fan, you have to hope that the team doesn't have that mental block, like thinking about the last 4 years. I think it does help that Matt Patricia has none of that baggage. He's coming in completely fresh, and he's got the best defense in the country at his disposal. So, but definitely, Anthony and Tim, it does play into my confidence. I'd be more confident if not for the last 4 years.
Here's the thing. Last year, Ohio State was literally a 3-touchdown favorite and got beat by an inferior Michigan team. This year, they're a 10-point favorite, depending on where you look, 9.5 to 10.5, whatever it is. But the bottom line is, so to think it can't happen again when you've seen it happen 4 times in a row is folly. To take anything for granted in this game is folly, and stuff happens. And I think it is true that sometimes one team has another team's number. We've seen it in this series, just previous to the 4-game losing streak by Ohio State, the ridiculous winning run that Ohio State went on in this series.
Yeah, they were on an 8-game winning streak, the Buckeyes were.
Right.
Right before that, they were on a 7-game winning streak.
JT Barrett's keeper, was it short by this much, or was it a first down? And then Curtis Samuels goes untouched for the winning touchdown in overtime. I mean, stuff happens in games like this. The weather is going to be a factor. I was up there yesterday. It's cold. It was blustery. It's supposed to be like that again today. Maybe not quite as windy, but the snow is coming. Whether it gets there before, during, or after the game remains to be seen.
Let's continue to tease the kickoff forecast.
There you go.
Oh, sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Yes.
This kickoff forecast brought to you by who?
Sunbelt Rentals.
Sunbelt Rentals. There you go.
So last year's game is the one I went into, guys, thinking, okay, it can't happen again. Buckeyes are going to roll them. Like, it's in Columbus. This is a bad Michigan team. So last year, that was my attitude. Right. It can't happen again. I definitely don't have that feeling today. Now, again, I think Ohio State's going to win the game, but it being at the big house, it's just, this is like the Michigan team. This is like their blueprint. What do? They run the ball well, and they play good, tough, physical defense. But they are one-dimensional offensively, and they're going up against the best. I'll even go as far as say Ohio State's defense is the best unit in the country on either side of the ball. Like, they're not just the best defense in the country; they're the best unit in the country. Period. So I think that's going to win the game for Ohio State. I think that they're going to win the game with their defense. But
I agree.
I'm not ruling anything else.
I agree with it. I agree with Ohio State being the best. Ohio State defense being the best unit in the country. I totally agree with that. But you've got a Michigan team. I remember when J.J. McCarthy came to Ohio Stadium. One was at 3 years ago. They couldn't throw the ball deep. Remember, this team, Michigan team, can't throw the ball deep. Marsh, they haven't really. Marsh has had a damn good year, but they haven't had a lot of guys complimenting him. Who is their tight end? Name their tight end right now.
Klein.
Yeah,
well, I know.
They got a couple of them actually.
Exactly.
Klein's been banged up. He actually is good.
Yeah.
But they're
6'6". Yeah.
Yeah, but he's been banged up. That's my
German.
point. My point is they don't have some of the things they had going for them before. But that doesn't mean they won't find lightning in a bottle.
That's true, especially playing there. I mean, we all know. Look at that 2013 game. Ohio State was favored by like a ton, and they needed that Tyvis Powell interception on the 2-point conversion to win by 1 point.
Yes.
So just
win, baby.
Exactly.
I think that's been the
Channel
mantra.
Al Davis.
Well, that's been the mantra for Ryan Day ever since he won the national title, which is no more style points. Like, this about winning. Like, I think when he first took the job,
right, too.
It was almost like he had to live up to some crazy standard of that I not only do I have to win, but I got to kill everybody. And now that he's got a natty, which you never can take away, and it's put him in a different stratosphere, that he now feels like I can be the guy I want to be. Now, Buckeye Nation will come back to last year, and you coached too conservative, it was a little too timid. But most coaches that I've ever interviewed, the one thing that's, I think, unanimous is the team that makes the least mistakes will win the game. Coaches are coaches. They don't like to take risks inherently. And you got to a little bit in these rivalry games. I do come back to, for the people that have talked about if Michigan can win the game, it's more mental. It's like they have a mental edge of Ohio State. Like, I've asked, people that are rooting for Michigan, like people that think they'll win the game, I'm like, all right, give me the big football reasons they'll win.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Okay, I understand the mental part, but just give me the football
gut.
reason.
Yeah, you don't want the gut feel.
And they keep coming back to. Well, they got a mental edge over them, and maybe the home field advantage.
You're
is
like,
something.
no, other than that.
Yeah,
here's what happens.
Other than the mental edge.
Michigan has to be better. Michigan has to be better than it has been so far. I'm not talking about Maryland last week. Michigan has to be better than it's been the last so many games this season. They got ripped by USC, and then they had close games against Northwestern, Purdue.
Yeah, they needed a last-second field goal to beat Northwestern.
Exactly. I mean, they need to be much better than they've been. Ohio State needs to be what it has been.
That's a great point.
That's it's a tall task to kind of reach for a brass ring, and everybody goes, well, Michigan has nothing to lose. Are you kidding me? Michigan wins this game. Michigan's in the college football playoff. Probably.
Do you guys feel that when Ohio State, I guess generally speaking, in all the years I've covered, the two of you have covered it, generally to me it feels like when Michigan wins, they're always kind of upsetting Ohio State.
Right.
And when Ohio State wins, they were supposed to win. They were the better team.
Yeah.
I don't feel like throughout history that Ohio State's ever had to, quote, upset Michigan. Like it feels like to me they've always had either they've been the favorite or Michigan has somehow upset them. Doesn't that?
Yeah, I don't know what was the line in 2016. I mean, who was favored in 16?
Buckeyes were favored in 16, but Michigan was favored in 18.
Right.
The Dwayne Haskins game.
Right.
Michigan was favored in the Jim Tressel, his first game. Michigan was favored in 01. Michigan was actually favored in Columbus in 04.
Yeah.
Troy Smith's coming out party. You're right. I mean, there hasn't been a lot, but I'm cherry picking. There's been like 3 games I can think of where Ohio State this century where Ohio State came in as the underdog and still won. But each of those games, Anthony,
not many.
Other than maybe the Tressel game, the point spreads were not very robust. I think the Dwayne Haskins game, I think Michigan was favored by like 4.5.
You're talking about the Haskins game when he came in the second half to replace?
No, not the one in Ann Arbor. The one at home, where Michigan was favored, and the Buckeyes just came out there and just destroyed them.
Tore them up.
Yeah. The other thing that jumps out to me about this year's game, as we kind of table history for a second, is that sometimes when teams are lesser than and they win, it's because they have some veteran leadership that says, not today, not my last game, or not my home game, not my last home game. Like, they find a way. This Michigan team is very young.
Yes.
So either they're young and dumb enough to think they can, you know what I mean? Like, where they don't feel the pressure because they're so young.
Yeah.
Or the youth is really going to show itself today against, as you guys mentioned, the number one defense in the country. So compared to a couple years ago with McCarthy and Corum and Roman Wilson and that O-line that had played a million snaps, like this is not that Michigan team.
No, it's more reminiscent to me, like I said, of the first J.J. McCarthy team that beat Ohio State, that upset Ohio State, because you got a quarterback like J.J. McCarthy. We were talking about this big time going into that game. They won't throw the ball down the field. Michigan would not throw the ball down the field, and all of a sudden they did.
And then Ohio State, like Dave said, they called their bluff, which is fine. Right. I love that defense. I like that early on. Challenge him to throw it.
Right.
Once he proved he could, you had to make the adjustment at half, and they never did.
That was the Jim Knowles thing, and I think we kind of glossed over it at the time. He would come out and say, well, our defense, we're very aggressive. It's kind of built in that we're going to give up 2 or 3 chunk plays a game.
Yeah.
And they lived up to that. They were giving up 2 or 3 chunk plays a game. I couldn't imagine Matt Patricia ever saying something like that. His idea is we're going to be aggressive. We're going to shut you down. We want to give up 0 chunk plays a game. I see what Knowles was saying.
I think it's we talked about it on your show yesterday, Anthony. The matchup is this defense. This is a veteran defense by now. Number one. Number two, a lot of these guys played a lot last year. Number three, they got Michigan has 3 redshirt freshmen starting on their offensive line.
Yeah.
Forget about a freshman at quarterback. Matt Patricia's licking his chops at making these guys think and play.
Yeah, the tail of the tape is certainly slanted, but we know it is the rivalry and it is just one game.
Yes.
Tim hinted the kickoff forecast brought to you by Sunbelt Rentals. See why the Columbus Builders building Columbus lean on green. Ann Arbor, high noon, about 30 degrees. Real feel 25. The wind's about south to southeast 8 miles an hour, gusts up to 13. The difference is potentially the precipitation keeps going up.
Yeah.
18%, 49%, 59%. But that's starting around 3. So you're looking at maybe fourth quarter at being a little dicey, perhaps.
Snowball.
Yeah, possible. I know you're interested in the cloud ceiling. That's about 3,700 feet, Dave.
Oh, wow. I tell you what, that's at least 30 feet.
Your visibility is about 10
higher
miles.
than what I'd expect.
3,700 feet. That's not. I mean, that's not even IMC when you're landing.
100% cloud cover today in Ann Arbor. We'll come back and we'll take you right there and check in with the voice of the Buckeyes to set the scene. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places right here on the Fan.
Drop what you're doing unless you're doing nothing, then keep doing that. It's Rivalry Week.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
Go Bucks, beat Michigan.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing mountain dew. So give me my good days, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Dread the cold, frosty winter weather? You don't have to with a remote car starter from Columbus Car Audio and Accessories. Warm up this winter by pushing a button and stop scraping frosty windows and sitting in a freezing car every day. Get yourself the latest remote start and step into a toasty and defrosted car this year. Plus, remote starts make amazing gifts for everyone on your shopping list. Beat winter weather by installing a remote car starter from Columbus Car Audio and Accessories. Morse Road near Easton, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or ColumbusCarAudio.com.
Taking out the trash. Hey Columbus, this is Zach Bourne. And Jacoby Bourne. When it comes to waste service, you want a team that knows how to deliver under pressure, just like Saturdays in the fall.
At Bourne Brothers Waste Services, our team is built on toughness, teamwork, and consistent execution.
We're the most reliable and customer service-focused waste company in Central Ohio.
Whether it is recycling, trash, construction waste, roll-off containers, front loads, or compactors, we have it handled.
Call now or visit BourneBrothers.com and let us tackle your waste needs.
Taking out the trash.
When it comes to your financial game plan, make the winning play with Mutual Federal, your community bank now open in Columbus. From checking and savings to business accounts and home loans, our local team is here to help you move the ball down the field towards your financial goals. Don't sit on the sidelines. Bank with a team that's part of your community and always rooting for you. Mutual Federal, a division of First Bank Richmond, doing great things together. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Did you know that Byers Airport Subaru is the oldest Subaru retailer in the entire country? And just like a veteran quarterback, we've been delivering winning drives for generations right here by the airport. During the 2025 Subaru Share the Love event, trade in your car for a new 2025 Subaru Outback for 0% for up to 36 months, and Subaru will donate $250 for every vehicle leased or purchased this month. Kick off your next adventure at ColumbusSubaru.com. Subject to credit approval, financing offer term up to 36 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentives. See dealer for details. Offer ends 12/1/25.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like chew this gum and it grows new teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Ohio Heating and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Bring the energy. It's game day, Buckeye fans. You're listening to the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places. And presented by Curtis and Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. It's time for the Big Daddy Report with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Now together to serve you better. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
All right, he's approximately 200 miles north, and he's the man. He's the voice of the Buckeyes getting ready to call another epic game, perhaps. He is Paul Keels. Good to have you, Paul. Good morning.
Well, good morning. Everything good despite the result of the end of that basketball game last night.
Yes, that's deja vu all over again, and we don't want to bring that up, Paul, because we don't need any of those thoughts today because
that's
of
right.
what happened last year and the previous year and the previous year and the previous year. So I don't need. We don't need to but I understand you bringing that up. All right, so you've called a lot of these. You've called national titles, but do you feel different on this day as an announcer, or do you try to act like a coach where, hey, I prepare the same way, I go into it the same way, and how it unfolds is how it unfolds, and I call what I see? Or is there a little more, intensity in your feel today?
Well, both are true, Anthony, and, it's because this is a special rivalry, and even with all of the changes that have occurred in college football, and even though the stakes are different now with the 12-team college football playoff. There's some difference with this from the Ohio State side of things, for these guys to be able to have a chance to play for a Big Ten championship, something that Ohio State's not had a chance to do since 2020, knowing the heartbreak that they've suffered at the hands of Michigan in the last 4 years. But there is some consistency with how you prepare. It's kind of like, Anthony, people used to ask Jim and I and Skip and all of us, when the games were on Peacock or when they were early in the years of the Big Ten Network where a lot of people couldn't see it. People would ask, well, is there something different when maybe there's more people listening? Well, no, you work just as hard when they play Grambling as they do for the Michigan game. So there's some constants, but you can't help but feel the excitement with this rivalry in this game.
Big Daddy, do you expect that Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate will play? And if they do play, how effective do you think they'll be?
Dave, I do expect that they will play, and hoping that they play, and hoping that they will be as effective as we've seen them, and that, having Carnell Tate not play since the Penn State game, that being healthy and ready to go is the payoff today. And Jeremiah Smith, even at 80%, if that's what it is, and, the hope is that he's 100%, but we know what kind of a difference maker Jeremiah Smith can be. So I know that they made the trip with the team. They are here in Washtenaw County, so hoping that they will be playing, anticipating them playing, and anticipating them being a factor.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it, Paul? I mean, as you look at this game, the prevailing theory out there by people down in the Southeastern Conference, ESPN area, et cetera, if you follow my drift, or Ohio State hasn't been tested, we don't know how good Ohio State is, et cetera. Where do you fall on that? I mean, obviously, no one expected the precipitous fall of Penn State as this season developed. But you know what? Texas was number one in that first poll, too, and they lost 3 games. Now they're putting forth why they should be in it with 3 losses. And I'm just wondering, but what is your take on Ohio State hasn't been tested since the opener against Texas?
Well, you can understand, Tim, why people say that. And again, Penn State not being what everybody thought Penn State would be. The Illinois game was not the challenge that maybe a lot of us thought it would be. Maybe there was an anticipation the Wisconsin game could be a little more challenging. So they haven't been tested. And, quite honestly, that Texas team that played last night is not the same Texas team that was in Columbus Labor Day weekend. They're a much much better football team, but that's also a team that lost to Florida. So, there's reason why people say that, and this team has not faced much adversity. I think they've only trailed 3 times during the course of the season, but that's not Ohio State's fault. They've been very businesslike with what they've done, gone out and taken care of things. Now, you certainly anticipate today's going to be the biggest test that they've seen all year, and this will be a barometer of really where this team is.
Right, and they did trail at Washington. You were out there. I mean, their first big-time road trip and stuff, but they, as the game went on, took control of that game. So, Washington was a decent, I guess, test for these guys. But you're exactly right. Do you have a sense? Do you believe in mojo? Do you believe in, I don't know if voodoo's the right word and stuff, but how would you explain the last 4 losses in this series by Ohio State?
Well, I think, if you look at it 2 years ago, that was, obviously with the results, that was a very, very, very good Michigan team.
Yes.
So you understand why that went the way that it did. Last year's the one that's the real puzzler. When you consider that was a more talented team on the hoof and on paper, but, give Michigan credit for what they were able to do. And there's all of the theories about what Ohio State did wrong, whether it was, hard-headed coaching, whether it was this, whether it was that. They just didn't execute. They didn't do the things that they needed to do on the field that day. And, fortunately, they were able to, pick up from there and go on the great run they had in the postseason. But it's hard to explain. I think that, keep in mind, a lot of people forget, Ohio State beat Michigan 8 years in a row.
Yes.
8 years in a row. And there were a number of those that could have very well gone the other way. So it's just kind of the way rivalries go, kind of the way momentum goes. And, when there's a streak, you always know the streak's eventually going to come to an end.
Yep. Paul Keels with us, voice of the Buckeyes. Paul, I think something very interesting today, in my mind, would be the aggressive start trying to maybe set the tone and get Michigan chasing because their offense isn't built to maybe come back. The other part of that I would ask you is that maybe throwing the ball will be easier technically early in the game, the first half of the game, than if we get some weather in the second half of the game. So I know coaches, the cliche is start fast, but I feel like that could be important in the play calling early in this game, but it's not usually what happens, right? It's like you don't want to make a mistake, you don't want to risk things early because you don't want to put yourself in harm's way because maybe you don't have to. So give me your take on that, on how Ohio State you feel might call the game early while the weather may be conducive for it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, and we know what Ryan Day's mode of operation has been with a coin toss. If they win the toss, do they defer, as they do in most cases, or do they decide to take the ball and try and get ahead early? And, just talking with some of the people from the Michigan radio network earlier when we first got here, this Michigan defense, which was phenomenal last year, and they've played reasonably well this year based on that standard, but, they're without one of their key pieces in the secondary, Rod Moore, who had that game-clinching interception 2 years ago here. That's a crucial injury. They played without Ernest Hausman, one of their potential starting linebackers last week. I don't know if he's going to go or not. So is throwing the football something that Ohio State would do more? I don't know they'd do more than what they normally would do, but we know that them throwing the football with Tate and with Smith, if they are good to go and 100%, that's what gives this team an advantage to be superior on offense. But the other part of that, Anthony, could it come down to time of possession? We've seen what Ryan Day's done with trying to massage the clock, get the ball in play, keep away. Could that be part of what they would do? The weather's going to be the weather. It's going to be the same for both teams regardless. It certainly would help if you have a lead and you can emphasize the run, and I think there's been some encouragement with the way the Buckeyes have run the ball the last 2 weeks.
Paul, all the focus is on, as far as injuries, on Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate for the Buckeyes. But on the other side of the ball, the Buckeyes are about as healthy as you could possibly be. I know Lorenzo Styles Jr. is a little banged up. I think he'll be available today. We'll find out a little bit later. But overall, this Ohio State defense could not be healthier.
Agreed, Dave, and that's been a big key, especially up front with those guys up front with the way they played, and also when you consider how people like Tywan Malone and Will Smith have given them some depth on that defensive line. The way Peyton Pierce is a third linebacker has been crucial there. So that has been a big thing, and especially when you consider that, Michigan's strength offensively, for all of the things that potentially Bryce Underwood, all the things he can do, running the ball is their strength. So a healthy defense is going to go a long way in trying to give them the best chance at being able to win.
Paul, you do your daily show with Ryan Day. Not that you do all of those every day, but my point is, what's your take on his demeanor? I think I've been impressed by just the entire year. He's been sort of the same guy. I don't know if you agree or not.
I do, Tim.
And there's there's a method. I wouldn't call it madness. There's a method to his approach now that is sure, but also looking continually for improvement, demanding it from his coaches and his players. And I don't know. I've been quite impressed. What's just your take on the way he's approached this game, for example?
But, Tim, I think it's been consistent with what he's done every week during the course of the season. Really, the only change has been the change that we influenced, and that's having the coaches show on Wednesday rather than Thursday because of the holiday. He's been just as consistent as he always is. Fortunate to like on Mondays and Thursdays when I get a chance to do the things that I have to do with him, and he's been just as gracious, just as congenial, and just the same person. It's never anything. It's not a lot of sit down chit chat, all of that stuff. It's sit down, how you doing, turn a recorder on, do the stuff. Thanks, coach. See you later. But and that seems to be a feeling that's permeated throughout that building. The little bit of being around it this week, that it's not been, the music hasn't been blaring at high volume like it has in past years and things like that. It's time for war, all of that stuff. So, and certainly how he acts is what's going to trickle down to everybody else.
Great stuff, Paul, as always, bud. We'll let you get going here, and we'll hit you up at the end of the show. Thank you.
All right, guys, take care.
That is Paul Keels, our segment sponsored by the Waterworks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, now together to serve you better. When we come back, we'll examine who will shine north of the border and maybe dive a little deeper into the demeanor of Ryan Day, who certainly wants this one very badly. We'll come back on the Tailgate Show live from Hollywood Casino Columbus, the Toyota Fan Tailgate Show, presented by Mountain Dew, right here on The Fan.
It's Rivalry Week, and dare I say the most rivalist one ever. Me Talk Pretty.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Toyota-thon is on, and there's no better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota, like the best-selling Toyota Camry. Now through December 1st, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Camrys. Or lease a new 26 Camry LE for $269 a month for 39 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, football fans, it's November in Ohio, and you know what that means. It's time to face that state up north in a battle to claim forgotten funds. Join us in the statewide challenge and visit com.ohio.gov/radio to help support Ohio's takedown of Michigan. The state with the most searches wins. Who knows? Unclaimed funds could help you buy a seat to the big game next year. Claim your money today at com.ohio.gov/radio.
Hey Columbus, it's Lorenzo Stiles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. Football runs deep in my family. My dad played here, and now my brother and I are proud to carry on that tradition. At Monogram Homes, family matters too. They treat every homeowner like one of their own, building with care, precision, and pride. Monogram doesn't just build houses, they build homes, crafted just for you. So whether you're starting your first home or designing your dream space, Monogram Homes has got your back every step of the way. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
The Ohio State University Army ROTC isn't just a curriculum. It's more than just a path to a degree. For more than 150 years, we have been forging tomorrow's leaders. Here you will find your purpose, your mission, your ROTC family. At Ohio State, you're not just joining Army ROTC, you're stepping into a history of excellence that spans generations. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu. Buckeyes lead the way.
Drive your dream car home today, no matter your credit history. Hey, it's Phil here at Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall. We proudly accept all credit types, good, bad, or none. Get pre-approved in minutes and hit the road with confidence. Get your new ride today. Call 614-861-7150 or shop our huge selection online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com. Your perfect ride is credit ready and waiting at Capital Ford of Columbus.
Ooh, winter's coming. And when the wind starts to blow, don't come inside to the cold. Open the door to peace of mind with your Waterworks and Header Precision Furnace Tune-Up and Energy Savings Plan. Your furnace is the heart of your home, and Waterworks and Header will have yours running at peak performance throughout the winter. Plus, you'll save on those energy bills too. Go to waterworks.com and schedule your furnace tune-up online. Waterworks and Header, heating, cooling, and plumbing. Together to serve you better.
Bishop and Friends.
I don't know where that type of social interaction is going to come from. Is this life now, where we just send pictures of each other's foreheads back and forth?
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Seller.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan. This is The Fan's Game Day Scoreboard.
This game day update is sponsored by Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Colt Bartemus. We've been waiting all season long for 12 o'clock on November 29th, and we are almost there. Only a little bit of sand left in that hourglass until number 1 Ohio State and number 15 Michigan kick off the newest chapter of the game. We got pregame coverage right here on The Fan all morning leading into the game. If you missed it last night, there were 3 ranked matchups in college football before Saturday even started. There was a big one in Austin as number 16 Texas delivered number 3 Texas A&M their first loss of the season. Texas now sits at 9-3, and we'll have to see how the committee handles them. And because A&M lost, that opens the door for number 4 Georgia to play in the SEC championship game following their 16-9 victory over number 23 Georgia Tech last night. Low-scoring affair, but the Bulldogs controlled the entire game. And in the duel in the desert, number 25 Arizona finishes 9-3 after taking down number 20 Arizona State.
Don't it feel good when your crowd behind you? You know what I'm saying?
You're listening to the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis & Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. He's so money.
Sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union.
All right, back at Hollywood Casino Columbus, Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show. Anthony Rothman, Dave Biddle, Tim May. So there are 2 kinds of questionable, right? There's the questionable of the dynamic duo going into warm-ups, and then there's the question on whether they will handle warm-ups.
That's right.
So I'm not sure.
That's 3 questions.
Yeah, I don't know whether they're truly questionable going into warm-ups or it's questionable whether they'll come out of warm-ups okay.
It's questionable if they'll be listed as questionable because the injury report doesn't officially come out for another hour, but I'm probable that they'll be listed as questionable.
Yeah, well, that and number 2, I've said all week any venue I've been on, including my own show, that I expect Jeremiah to play. We'll see if Carnell Tate also plays. That'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean, they have to be questionable at this point for 2 reasons. Number 1, they probably are, and then number 2, keep the other side guessing. So we'll see where it goes.
Fama let the cat out of the bag, didn't he?
Well, to some,
we weren't supposed to say anything till 10.
But he didn't really let it out completely because it's still up in the air.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody expected Ohio State. Okay, the good news is they're not out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the very good news. So that's official.
Yeah,
they're not out.
They're there. I saw them get off. I saw them get off the bus yesterday,
and expect to be available. I will tell you this. So I want to bring up the question I asked Paul to you guys, and the reason I bring it up is based on that. Yes, while the weather is quote the same for both teams, weather doesn't affect teams the same.
Right.
And Ohio State is certainly the better offense and the better passer and the better passing game in general. And if they have these 2 guys, then it's a massive edge to the passing game for Ohio State. And the reason I asked Paul on whether Ryan Day and Brian Hartline would allow themselves to lean into who they are early is because of possibly if the weather gets wet and windy late, that would bring their strength back a little bit to Michigan. And so that's why I asked it. So I'll ask you guys the same thing. The tightrope of calling this game aggressive early, which could lean into who they are, which everyone wants them to do anyway, and also maybe have a slight weather advantage to throw the ball early. So this whole the weather's the same for both. It doesn't impact teams the same.
Yeah, I asked Ryan Day when he got off the bus. That was my question: is how much the weather's going to impact this? You're thinking, and are you already putting yourself through scenarios, et cetera, of like if it's doing this, that, and the other? And basically, I'm paraphrasing, but you roll with the punches in terms of what you call, et cetera. The field's going to be better at the beginning of this game than it is at the end. You got to figure that, number 1. Number 2, like we were talking about, both it's out. The cat's out of the bag now, but it's the same cat we've been dealing with. Yes, Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith are both listed as questionable, but they are both there. If you're going to get anything out of them, you got to think it's going to be early in the game. You know what I mean? Why not exploit them while you got them, right?
That's my thinking, yeah.
Exactly. And you and I think alike about a lot of things, but that's definitely one of them. So, yeah, the weather's going to be better at the beginning of the game than it is at the end, like you just pointed out. So why not, fire off? I mean, remember the Battle of the Bulge? They couldn't get the Air Force in the in the sky there for a couple 3 days. The Germans made headway, and then they didn't. I don't mean to equate, use those war analogies, but you can get the Air Force in the air at the beginning of this game, and I would expect Ohio State to exploit that because there's stuff to be had there against Michigan throwing the ball.
All right, so here's the second tangent, Dave, and I'll maybe lead you a little bit here. Julian Sayin has had a Heisman-type year. Incredibly accurate, really efficient. How much are they walking that tightrope of forcing him to be more aggressive early in a game, his first trip to Ann Arbor? Does that play into it at all?
Yeah, I think they just want him to do what he's done, like not try to be more aggressive, but certainly you don't want to be like, okay, we've had the most accurate quarterback in the country, number one in the nation in passing efficiency.
Go over there and stand.
Let's back off the throttle a little bit, and I think the weather's going to cooperate enough. You made a great point because on my podcast on Bucknuts the last few weeks, we've been talking about the weather because people have been asking me about what's the weather forecast. I'm like, we're 14 days out. And then even we're 7 days out. And then a lot of people in the chat would be like, what does the weather matter for? And their point is, and I understand it, the weather's the same for both teams, right? It's not like Michigan gets to play in a dome and Ohio State has to play in bad weather. True. But you look at Ohio State's offense. Can they run the ball? Yeah, they're a decent running team. They've picked it up the last few weeks. But their calling card is throwing the ball. Michigan, what were we talking about? Michigan's a one-dimensional offense. They run the ball well. They can't really throw. So if it was super windy, which it's not going to be, it's going to be 8 to 10 miles an hour, which is not bad for this late in the year.
Maybe a little higher at times.
It'll be cold, but it's not going to be crazy. When you talk to any quarterback, they say wind is the biggest thing. So, yeah, I think you have to go up there and play your game. But it does, the weather's the same for both teams. Well, if it was a really bad weather day, that would help Michigan more than it would help Ohio State.
Absolutely, because Ohio State, with Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith both on the field and ready to play, has the best passing attack in the country. It does, with Max Clare augmenting that, and maybe a couple of Brandon Ennis.
He's banged up too. Now he's so tough.
Yeah, he's banged up.
They're not going to put him on the availability. He's like, you'd have to have like a broken leg to not play.
But my point is that's what makes Ohio State better than anybody is the way the diversity they can bring at you from an offensive standpoint. If you take one of those pieces away, then it makes it more even of a match with Michigan and what Michigan can do offensively. So
Jerry Amick has told us we can put the availability report out there. So if you want to see so Jeremiah and Carnell are questionable for Ohio State. There are no surprises on if you're a Buckeye fan, you knew probably they're going to be listed as questionable. I think they're both going to play. You look at it, nobody of note is really out. I mean, Quincy Porter, but he missed last week. But as far as anybody else, it's guys that have been out for a while, like Logan George, Malik Hartford, guys like that.
Right.
And that's really it, Quincy Porter. So again, yeah, we're all focused, myself included. We're all focused on Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. But, man, overall, Ohio State, even on offense, overall they're healthy. And then in defense, they could not be healthier.
Well, that's the other part about weather. And, I mean, the number one defense in the country doesn't mind if it's bad weather. That would also help them. The other thing, let's not let Michigan off the hook in the injury report either. I mean, their starting fullback, Max Bredesen, he's a key blocker for them.
Yep.
Like, he's a little bit questionable. The linebacker, Ernest Hausman, he's questionable right now. I mean, they've got they're pretty beat up, too.
Jordan Marshall's going to play. He's like almost like a Brandon Ennis where he's so tough, he's going to play. But he's one Arvell Reese shot away from not being able to play. Now, you could say the same thing about Jeremiah Smith, right? He's one big shot away from not being able to play because he's clearly banged up. But... And Justice Haynes looked like he was probably the second best running back in the country, behind only Jeremiah Love to me. He was that good. I'm like, my gosh, they got a great 1-2 punch. Well, now they just have Marshall. Now that the kid that started last week when Marshall was out, they held him out. I bet he could have played. Did run for Kuzdal ran for 100 yards. I think he's a former walk-on.
He's like a two-star kid.
It's not like he's like a terrible player. Yeah, so they do have somebody behind Marshall if Marshall gets knocked out. The point is they went from maybe the best 1-2 punch in the country at running back, which is what Ohio State had last year, to Justice Haynes is out. Marshall's banged up. They got a bunch of other guys banged up, like you mentioned.
And listen, as good as Haynes was, and he was very good, he ran for 125 yards, and they still got killed at Oklahoma.
Yes.
Like, he still had a day at Oklahoma.
He had one big run.
It didn't matter.
He had a huge run, which really elevated his stats.
And then on the other side, like King Miller, the walk-on at USC, ran all over Michigan. I know this is not
that's what I'm looking
last
at.
week, but
that's what I'm looking at more than anything else. I think Ohio State, they're not playing Purdue today. I mean, Purdue played Michigan to the hilt. 21-16, I think, was the final score. My point is, you can gain confidence even when you're in blowouts. You can gain confidence in a segment of your game that you're looking to improve. And Ohio State feels really good about its run game. Great, I don't know, but good about its run game going into this one.
I hope that if they run it early and they're not crazy successful, that people don't freak out. Like, it's still a 4-quarter game.
Bingo.
You're still trying to establish the run. And I want to get your opinion on this because I've said this for a year now. I don't think it was ego with Ryan Day. I don't think he was, quote, trying to prove a point. He's trying to win a football game. I think Ryan Day has been told, and he's pretty smart, that over the last 25 years, the team that rushes for more yards in this game always wins it. And I think he, to a fault, got caught up in that. And then the other part was the conservative nature of the team that makes the least mistakes will win the game. His kicker let him down. He had a red zone pick.
Right.
Like, okay, and it just fed the beast of, oh, no.
Right.
That's why I keep bringing up. An early start in this game, as cliche as it is, could be vital in winning this game. And that's why I think that they're probably a little bit torn on, do you go in early and just try to be the more physical team, the tougher team, the run, that team, or do you take some shots? If you have a 3-and-out, so what?
I think you've got to err on the side of trying to get a 2-score lead. Now, obviously, you got to get a 1-score lead before you get a 2-score lead. If you're Ohio State, in my opinion, if you get a 2-score lead, that could even be 10 points. It could be 10-0, 13-3, whatever that is. It's going to be lights out for Michigan. This is not a team they can come back from a 7-point deficit, Michigan, definitely at home. You get them down by 2 points, they might start pressing. Again, they're a one-dimensional offense playing against this defense.
Yeah.
If Ohio State can get a 2-score lead, it might be lights out. And another thing, if Ohio State can score more than 17 points, they're winning this game. Michigan's not going to score more than 17 points against this defense.
Without some weird help. I'm with you.
Yeah.
This game to me has a feel of 2015 when Ohio State went up there, had that loss, but went up there, changed some things offensively, and in the second half did a Harbaugh, meaning just ran it down their throat. And this game could evolve in that respect. Number two, there's a fine line between being aggressive and obsessive. I think they were obsessed with running the ball at Michigan last year. I think the idea was you run it at those 2 big-time tackles straight at them, but that didn't work.
Yeah,
those first-round draft pick tackles,
it's a different
run right up their strength.
The 2 best players on their team.
I kind of understood going into the game, okay, we're going to play man ball, we're going to beat them at their game, but then they didn't adjust. They never adjusted that.
And
game.
Will Howard got hit in the head, but as I said, he had that touchdown drive before halftime after getting hit in the head.
Right.
It's just hammered in this game. It's hammered every year. The team that's tougher, the team that wants it more, the team in the trenches. Like, it's built that way, so it's no surprise when teams try to be that way.
If Jeremiah Smith can play, they need to. This needs to be a show-off Jeremiah Smith game.
Yes. They ignored the fact that they had Jeremiah Smith on the field last year.
He's So Money, sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union. All right, when we come back, that will be the question to the former All-American Jim Lache. They say this game is won in the trenches. Who has the big edge? We'll ask him next. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places right here on the Fan.
It's finally here. Rivalry Week.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
We're talking about the Buckeyes and meat chicken all damn week. Join us, the Fan.
Hi, Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Coming up, more football talk on the Fan.
That's right, Bob. And just like our hometown team, Worthington Jewelers is all about tradition, family, and winning moments.
Celebrate your victories with us, your hometown jeweler, Worthington Jewelers.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
At Kemba Financial Credit Union, we care about you. Consumers like you say they don't want monthly fees for checking, and we listen. Introducing hassle-free checking with no monthly service fee. Use it as an easy place to deposit and transfer your money, along with your everyday banking needs. Plus, Kemba's expansive digital banking services make it easy for you to bank how you want. At Kemba, we're always thinking of ways to put you and your finances first. Visit Kemba.org, federally insured by NCUA. Restrictions apply.
Plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC techs. It's time to get what you deserve. Join a team that offers better wages, secure pensions, employee-paid health care, and free training and continuing education. Apprentices, you'll earn while you learn. No student debt, just a solid future. It's more than a job, it's a career. Visit UALocal189.com and take the first step today.
We're back to football talk, but before we kick off, a quick thanks to Bob and the team at Worthington Jewelers.
Thanks, Common Man. Whether it's game day or every day, we're here to help you celebrate life's biggest moments.
Worthington Jewelers, your hometown jeweler.
What he said.
Millions of fans agree. This Christmas tradition rocks. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting The Ghost of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more. December 23rd, 2 shows, Nationwide Arena. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestra. A portion of the proceeds benefits the James and Heather Pick Music Program.
Taking out the trash. Hey, Columbus, this is Zach Bourne.
And Jacoby Bourne.
When it comes to waste service, you want a team that knows how to deliver under pressure, just like Saturdays in the fall.
At Bourne Brothers Waste Services, our team is built on toughness, teamwork, and consistent execution.
We're the most reliable and customer service-focused waste company in Central Ohio.
Whether it is recycling, trash, construction waste, roll-off containers, front loads, or compactors, we have it handled.
Call now or visit BourneBrothers.com and let us tackle your waste needs.
Taking out the trash. When it's 6 a.m. and you need a skid steer and you want to talk to an actual person about skid steers, lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. With the largest rental fleet and hardest working equipment experts in Columbus, we can help steer you to the right skid steer at the right price right now. Tracks or wheels, diesel or gas, light, medium, or heavy duty. Plus attachments for loading, grading, digging, drilling, tilling, and trenching. No wonder the Columbus builders building Columbus lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. Learn more at sunbeltrentals.com.
All the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Hi, this is Max with Buckeye Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Winter will be here before you know it, and that means it's time to get your heating and plumbing systems maintained. Our True Comfort membership is designed to keep things in tip-top shape. Thank you for letting us keep your home comfortable and plumbing worry-free. And when you need us,
call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows?
Oh no.
Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see sunshine to start in some spots with increasing clouds throughout the day and then chances of snow showers later with highs in the upper 30s. For tonight, the snow chances develop overnight with possibly some mixing with rain. Lows right around the freezing mark and breezy winds could see a little bit of accumulation. As we go into Sunday, chances of rain and snow persist and then that ends by early afternoon, otherwise cloudy with our highs near the 40s and gusty winds. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis and Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your forever flagship home of Ohio State Athletics. The Fan. It's time to check in with Buckeye color analyst and president of the Large Hand Society, Jim Lache.
Sponsored by Ohio State Army ROTC. Leadership starts here. Visit arotc.osu.edu.
Yeah, he's the former All-American. He'll be on the call. He's our friend Jim Lache up in Ann Arbor. Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys today?
Fantastic. It's our Super Bowl, right? Feels that way. You know all about that. So, there's a kind of a conundrum going on. Like, this has always been an issue over the last few years about, establishing the run. And, Michigan's outrushed Ohio State in each of those games. And we all know that the team that wins this game has been the one with more rushing yards and all that the last, couple of decades here and more. So give me your opinion on that, the strategy early in this game for Ryan Day and Brian Hartline, and quote that cliche, establishing the run, or do you go the other way and throw the ball to open up the run and take advantage of possibly clearer weather early in the game? and maybe just your feel on who has the edge in the trenches today.
Well, certainly if you base it off last year, the only scoring drive was when Ohio State went tempo and took it down the field, and it seemed like in an easy fashion to get that touchdown, and then they went back to try to pound the rock and didn't get it done. So I think today, you got to go out there and you got to loosen them up a little bit. Make sure that you're not running into a stacked box, and by doing, getting some plays in that passing game, getting them in maybe a little bit of a too-deep situation, then you can kind of, work on that running game and, convert first downs, on the ground. But I don't think it's a major necessity to have to win that rushing battle. Now, as an old offensive lineman, I'm like, yeah, you got to run. You got to be able to run the football.
You're not.
But
that
in this
old.
game, you got to. Yeah, but in this game, you got to loosen them up a little bit, and that seems to have been the strategy. Just look at our. We went on the road against Wisconsin. We're able to, against a good defense, and able to, get that passing game, juiced up and making plays down the field. So, I think you got to take advantage of your matchups, wherever they are. If you got a wide receiver, a running back, a tight end, and they think that they can win their coverage situation, then make sure you get the ball in their hands. That's what this game becomes. It becomes a matchup. You got to win your matchups individually and then collectively as a unit, and then as a team. So find out what that they're doing best, how to attack them. But I think if you got Jeremiah Carnell healthy, Max Clare, what he's been able to do, backs out of the backfield, catching the football. If Julian Saint has to throw the ball 25, 30 times to win this game by one, that's fine with me.
Jim, looking at Ohio State's defense, do you anticipate them using more three linebacker sets? We've seen Matt Patricia do that some this year, like against Wisconsin. There's been some other games. Do you expect to see a lot of Peyton Pierce out there today?
I would, if you're seeing them in two tight ends, situations where, Peyton can be in there. If they think it's going to be a running type situation where, they want to pound the football, then you're going to see more of Peyton Pierce. He's had 41 tackles on the year, 3 starts. Those starts against teams that come out in two tight ends. So it is situational. It is, if they're going to have 3 wide receivers on the field, 4 wide receivers, then you're going to see, Lorenzo Style, if he's healthy, Devin Sanchez come in and play against those 3 receiver sets. So a lot of it's depending on personnel. But if they want to come out with the attitude of trying to run the football, you want Peyton Pierce on the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think the absolute key matchup here is Ohio State trying to get into the head of Bryce Underwood like they did Arch Manning way back in the season opener, Jim. Because, I mean, Bryce has kind of been all over the place a little bit, as a freshman quarterback. And, of course, we all remember Rick Leach winning as a freshman quarterback for Michigan way back when in the mid-'70s. But the bottom line is, I mean, I think Matt Patricia – is almost exactly what the doctor ordered to get after Bryce Underwood in terms of giving him a conundrum at the line of scrimmage. And number 2, he really hasn't run like you think he can. I mean, but Caleb Downs brought it up on Wednesday. This guy can run, man, and can be a Iamaleava in terms of the kind of the threat he poses. And so I see that word cage, the quarterback, definitely coming back into vogue today. What's your take?
No, I agree. He's got the ability to run. Compare him to DeMond Williams. He's probably got 20, 25 pounds on him. So,
yeah.
Just a little bit bigger athlete at 6'4", where DeMond was, maybe 6'1". So, just where DeMond was more quick, Bryce can be a little bit more powerful running the football. So you got to keep him caged in. You got to get a lot of hats to the ball carrier. If he is going to run, the thing is, exposing the quarterback, right? How good's a backup if you're going to run, the quarterback a lot? Because I think we get guys that can be physical and get after him, whether it's, Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, Peyton Pierce, our defensive ends, Kenyatta Jackson, and Caden Curry. All those guys have the ability to run and to be able to chase quarterbacks. So I would keep him contained, keep him in that pocket, and then be able to get hits on him as he's trying to, escape and trying to make a place with his feet. But he's got the ability to do that. He's a good athlete. We understand that. So Ohio State's defense will have to go out there and get after him and really unleash Arvell. These last couple of games, it's been kind of quiet, and I think that was for a reason. We're not going to show too much. We're going to do what it takes to win this football game. And we're going to try to keep, him and Sonny Styles fresh, as fresh as you can be by playing football. And I think they were able to accomplish that these last couple of weeks. Now they got to turn it loose. There's nothing, there's no tomorrow, so to speak. This is one play at a time and try to get after them as much as you can. And those guys are guys that I'd want to have on my team to do that job.
Yeah, this game screams Arvell Reese. I mean, it has ever, for like weeks now to me and stuff. And like you said, last week, Arvell really didn't have a lot of opportunities either, right? I mean, it was like, because why waste, like you said, showing some things when you don't have to?
No, I think that's exactly right. And, there's kind of a reason behind that madness of Matt Patricia, make sure that he's got exactly what he needs to do. So he's going to have to call a good game. The people here in Michigan, they won't give him a warm welcome since his time with the Detroit Lions. But, he understands that and knows what he's got to do, and he's going to be focused for this game. And, speaking of edge players, going the other side of the ball for Michigan, Derek Moore, Jayshawn Barham, both those guys have the ability to wreck offensive play. So our offensive tackles, our center, our two guards are going to have to play outstanding football against this defensive front, because we know that they can, line those guys up. They're kind of our version of Sonny and Arvell. So
yes,
good football players. They're going to have crowd noise, working in their favor. So our offensive line's going to have to really play well on the edges to make sure Julian Sayin stands up in that pocket.
This is the Toyota Fan Tailgate Show presented by Mountain Dew, our visit with Jim Lache. It's always fun up there, isn't it, Jim, because of the one tunnel and the locker room locations and all that, and handling emotion in this game. We've seen it both ways. Talk about that a little bit. You've played in some massive games. What did you tell yourself? What do you think these guys are telling themselves going into this game about channeling the emotion?
Well, this is my 17th trip up here for this game as a player. And, as a broadcaster, I came once in 93 as a fan, so I guess this will be my 18th time to just, watch this game. And that is, you learn something in this game as a football player, the intensity that it takes each and every play to get a win in this game. That, if you can bank that knowledge, you're going to have a good football career, because if you play every play like you have to play against a team up north, things are going to go well for you, and I think that's what you gain in playing in rivalry games, especially at the college football level. This is always one of the best programs in the country. Ohio State's in that same category. So to beat teams like Michigan and to win Big Ten championships, you got to go out there and you got to lay it on the line every play. You can't take a play off. So mentally, you got to be sound. You got to understand your assignments, which they should. They should have that all down. Now it just comes into a physical battle. And the thing that if a play doesn't go well, you got to flush it. Forget about that. Move on to that next play, because there's nothing you can do. When the result is over, it's done. So you got to make sure that you're good to go on that next play. I think Ryan Day will have these guys fired up, as you guys talked about a little bit earlier, with Paul, trying to make this a routine week. As much as it's not, they tried to. There wasn't, the beat Michigan all over, signs all over the Woody. There wasn't the it's time for war playing, inside the locker room on a continuous loop. The scout team, they didn't tape up their helmets with the wing foot emblem on there and the maize and the blue. That wasn't the case. They tried to treat this as just a regular week and worry about what you have to do, not about what the team you're playing has to do.
Well done, my man. Hope you have a great call, bud. Bring home a victory. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
That is our friend Jim Lache, presented by Ohio State Army ROTC. Leadership starts here. Visit arotc.osu.edu. When we come back, we'll lean into the Ryan Day flipping of the script. Is this the year? This is the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
They say glory is earned, not given. We say it's ignited by heart and ends with a boom. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com.
Toyotathon is on, and there's no better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota. Now through December 1st, get 4.75 APR financing on any remaining new 25 RAV4 or RAV4 Hybrid. Or lease a new gas-powered RAV4 LE for $289 a month for 39 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. Here at Key, we believe in providing a helping hand in our community. While helping hands are wonderful, a helping bank is even better. That's a bank committed to solving people's financial needs, but it doesn't stop there. We advocate, we support, we listen, and we volunteer. That's a bank that is always ready to meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors.
KeyBank, member FDIC.
If you haven't felt the rush of the holiday season, trust me, it's coming. Eric Reeser here. Get your body ready for all the tailgating and all the turkey at Hydrate Me Med Spa. They've got 4 convenient locations in Central Ohio offering medical-grade IV and aesthetic treatments to help you look and feel your best during the hustle and bustle. I dropped into their Dublin location for an ozone therapy treatment. They infused my blood with medical-grade ozone that gave me a much-needed energy boost and properly prepared my immune system to tackle cold days and crowded stadiums. Look great, feel great today. Book your drip at hydratememedspa.com.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey Columbus, it's Lorenzo Stiles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. It's football season, and just like on the field, success starts with the right game plan and the right team. That's why I'm proud to team up with Monogram Homes. They're the true custom home builder, bringing precision, creativity, and attention to every detail, just like we do on Saturdays. If you're ready to build, don't settle for standard. Go custom. Go Monogram. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
They say glory is earned, not given. We say it's ignited by heart and ends with a boom. Get your tickets today at bluejackets.com.
Hello, big voice guy here. I've been hired to tell you all about the Fans YouTube channel. Did you know you can immerse yourself in Buckeye goodness like Austin and Burb's daily podcast, The Beat? Yes, sirree, Bob. Subscribe today. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
This game day update is sponsored by Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Cole Bartimus. We've been waiting all season long for 12 o'clock on November 29th, and we are almost there. Only a little bit of sand left in that hourglass until number 1 Ohio State and number 15 Michigan kick off the newest chapter of the game. We got pregame coverage right here on the Fan all morning leading into the game. If you missed it last night, there were 3 ranked matchups in college football before Saturday even started. There was a big one in Austin as number 16 Texas delivered number 3 Texas A&M their first loss of the season. Texas now sits at 9-3, and we'll have to see how the committee handles them. And because A&M lost, that opens the door for number 4 Georgia to play in the SEC championship game following their 16-9 victory over number 23 Georgia Tech last night. Low-scoring affair, but the Bulldogs controlled the entire game. And in the duel in the desert, number 25 Arizona finishes 9-3 after taking down number 20 Arizona State.
That was one hell of a game, huh?
Start ringing that victory bell. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis & Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan.
All right, inching closer to the main event. Number 1 Ohio State at number 15 Michigan. And your kickoff forecast brought to you by Sunbelt Rentals. See why the Columbus Builders building Columbus lean on green. Talked a lot about it because it may matter. 31 degrees at kickoff, real feel about 25, wind south-southeast, 8 miles an hour, gusts up to 13. It's going to be 100% cloud cover, no sun today, they're telling me. And the fact that the precipitation chances go from every hour goes from 18% at kickoff to 49%. To 59%. It may just be a fourth quarter thing, or guess what? It may skip them all together. Who knows, right?
Right. And
But it's in the forecast.
Yeah, I was looking at the radar, and Tim at first was us because Tim's going to drive up to Ann Arbor as soon as the show's over. And we were looking at the radar. It's like, the snow's coming in a little earlier than we expected, but it breaks apart before it gets to Ann Arbor. It looks like still right about 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
If the radar is true, is when the snow's going to hit. But it looks like it's going to be flurries. So I imagine even if there is snow up there, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Now, you talk to quarterbacks, like if you're Julian Sand, now if you're from Carlsbad, California, you don't have much experience playing in the snow, if at all. I get that. But quarterbacks say it's the wind, or if it gets really, really wet. If it's just snow flurries, It's not going to get that wet. So all things considered, with being like the end of November in Ann Arbor, I think this is actually pretty good weather for Ohio State.
I agree. I mean, even the snow, as long as it's not just snow bowl stuff and the wind blowing 30 miles an hour and blizzard-like conditions. I mean, who doesn't love playing in that sometimes, right?
Austin Saraveld, I love what he said. I feel like we don't talk enough about Austin Saraveld. Like what he did last year as a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
It was like a 3-star recruit. He started the first 2 games of the year when Donovan Jackson was banged up. And then it was like, all right, we're going to have you play right guard and left guard. He did that throughout the playoffs. Played really well as a redshirt freshman. Then Iron Buckeye during the offseason. Becomes a captain as a third-year sophomore offensive lineman. I don't think I've seen that at Ohio State. And he's going to be the right tackle after playing guard last year.
Right.
Oh, how about camp, actually, Austin, we're going to move you to left tackle. And it's not just he's like holding the fort down. He's playing well. This kid, and he's tough. I love what they're asking him about playing, and he's like, I love playing in cold weather. He's just that type of football player that you love if you're a fan out there. And they do. They don't necessarily need to win the rushing battle to win this game. I'm glad Ryan Day didn't talk about that. They probably do, but they don't need to focus on that. They do need to win the battle of the trenches. When a big guy like Austin Saraveld in there should give Buckeye fans
Here's what they need
comfort.
to do. When they get in the red zone, they need to score touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
That's the
more
key
for
stat.
Michigan almost.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, but both.
Yeah.
You got to score touchdowns. I mean, it's going to be a tricky day, maybe kicking the ball a little bit, but you can throw the ball. Julian Sayin has a nice, big-time pass from the standpoint of nose down, digs in. I mean, he can throw. Unless he gets up to 15 to 20 miles an hour, I think they can still throw the ball the way they want to. Number two, it's much easier to get open, for want of another term, in inclement weather for the wide receiver than it is the DB adjusting to what you're doing.
If it was a bad field, like if they were old school bad field grass, then maybe it would be even harder. But now, these guys are planting pretty good on that stuff. But
get those Tennessee cleats and go for it.
So, here's the feel about, the situation with Ryan Day, and Tim brought it up earlier about how he's been all year, and I've noticed it. We have so much fun listening to his press conferences this year and dissecting them a little bit. And I do feel like there's a different calm. As I said earlier, the style points are out the window. That's not what this era is about. It used to be when you had to kind of get voted in, you needed that. You still need game control, but, obviously Ohio State's making the playoff regardless. But I don't know. I think winning the national title has given him an incredible peace and incredible stratosphere of achievement. And the fact that he's now matched Urban and Tress here, and he's got one. He's going after another one.
Right.
Obviously, the Michigan thing hangs over him, and why not? If it's the greatest rivalry in sports, then let's not diminish it by saying it doesn't matter, because it does.
Right.
But it doesn't. It's not the be-all, end-all when it comes to winning at all. It used to be. But I don't know if he comes out with that line at the presser this week of fun is kicking ass. Like, I don't know if he says that if he doesn't win the title. I think it's given him this calm and confidence that he can flip the script this year.
As
you
it
guys
should.
feel that do you
absolutely.
think he says what? Do you think he has the exact same press conference this week if he didn't win it all last year?
No, not at all. No, and because and he knows better than anybody, being 1-4 against Michigan, that's not good. But winning a national championship, he now joins the names of Paul Brown, Woody Hayes, Jim Tressel, and Urban Meyer as the only coaches to ever win a national championship at Ohio State. And yeah, he would have loved to beat Michigan last year. He'd love to beat Michigan the years before that as well.
The last 4 years, he would love to
definitely.
beat Michigan.
But man, I don't think he would trade that. If you say no national championship, but you're 5-0 against Michigan right now, I don't think he trades that. I think it's 1-4 against Michigan, because national championship banners fly forever. They don't have signage in Ohio Stadium of these are the years we beat Michigan. Now, is it a huge goal? Yes. Has it been diminished a little bit? Yes. Because it used to be you had to win that game to even have a shot at winning the national championship. But it's still huge, and Ryan Day needs to get that monkey off his back today.
But, I mean, even the players, though, Caden Curry last week volunteered the fact that national championship, you can never take it away from it, whatever. But what they didn't do was they didn't get the triad. They didn't beat Michigan. They didn't get to play for the Big Ten championship for since 2020. They haven't played for the Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
So it does mean something to these guys from the standpoint of they know that last year was super, but this year they could do something that last year's team didn't do, which was take care of business against your rival and then play for the Big Ten championship and win it. So
they can flip it.
It does matter to them.
I said that earlier this week, that the marching orders for this team, or at least in their minds, wasn't you have to repeat.
Right.
It was you're the ones that can flip it. We can look to you as you're the team that got it back going the other way. And I think that was as important. You and I talked before the show, Dave and Tim, about I think there's a little bit of equal. I don't think it's just psychotic, like Nick Saban said, that some fans care more about beating Michigan than winning a natty. I don't even know if it's even that cut and dried. I said that some people hate losing more than they enjoy winning, and you hate losing to your bitter rival maybe more than you enjoy winning. Now, you almost had the twofer in that year where they could have met Michigan in the national title game and gotten paid back in the ultimate game.
Right.
Obviously, you didn't, but you won it anyway. So your thoughts on that, about the Buckeye fan that leans into that I don't want a commemorative football with a red L against Michigan again, even if it's a national championship football.
That's funny you brought that up. I got did some promotional stuff, so I got sent these really nice embossed footballs, and I gave some out to my family and friends, and all of them said, "Man, I wish it didn't have that Michigan thing on there." Like they can deal with the Oregon
Just take the whole schedule off.
Then Ohio State then smoked Oregon in the Rose Bowl. So I think it's two things. I think you're right. People hate losing more than they like winning. I also think it's taken people, and rightfully so. We've been college football fans for however many years we've been alive, and it's so new now. It's almost more like college basketball now. I think fans have not been able to wrap their minds around, wait a minute, we can lose to Michigan and still win the national championships? Yeah, it happened last year. I use the basketball analogy. Let's say the regular season and then the ACC championship. Let's say Duke beats North Carolina 3 times. Right, twice in the regular season, once in the ACC championship game in basketball, and then North Carolina goes on and wins the national championship. Do you think any Carolina fans would be upset with that? You think they'd rather be 3-0 against? So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Like I think there's maybe 5% of Ohio State fans that would rather have a win over Michigan and not have the national championship. I think most Ohio State fans would rather win the national championship. Even though it sucks to lose to Michigan, you'd still rather win the national championship.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the tear they went on last year is unprecedented after the game, after the loss in the game. But, I almost described John Cooper's record at Ohio State. If you look at, he's the second winningest coach in Ohio State history. I described it as a brilliant scarlet tie with a splotch of mustard in the middle of it. Because it still gnaws at people today that he went 2-10-1 against Michigan. I mean, there were some great games in that run, but it still gnaws at them. And of course, back then you didn't have the extended playoff. You didn't have the BCS didn't even come around until 1998.
Well, Anthony says all the time, if they had this format back then, Cooper would have had at least one national title.
Absolutely.
96, 98.
95, 96, 98.
I mean, Michigan did
95 was a hell of a football team.
That 95 team, though, I mean, their defense was so bad that they let Tim Biakabatuka.
It was bad.
He still owes Bill Young money, and what did they do? They fired Bill Young after that season, and they brought in they promoted Fred Puggich, and what happened?
Well, Bill
the
Young.
Silver Bullets were born in 1996.
Bill Young left. Bill Young left.
Well, because they were going to fire him.
Well, I don't know about that. I would have a problem with somebody who's running the sprint draw on me every other play and gaining 10, 12, 14 yards.
And then what happened when they played Alabama in the Citrus Bowl? They kept running that same screen pass to Sherman Williams, and he never adjusted to that either. So he made Tim Biakabatuka. Tim Biakabatuka went ahead of Eddie George in that draft.
Yeah.
That 96 draft. He went ahead of Eddie George.
But they played Tennessee after the 95 Michigan game.
They bring in Fred Puggich the next year's D coordinator, and bam, Silver Bullets.
But they played Tennessee in the Citrus Bowl after the 95 game.
They did.
Peyton Manning.
That's the Tennessee cheats game. Oh yeah, I was thinking 90. I was thinking 94.
Cheat cleats.
94 was the game against Alabama. The 94 season where Bill Young was just giving up the same.
Still a hell of a football game though. That Citrus Bowl was.
Joey Galloway's touchdown should not have counted. I was sitting right there. I just went as a fan. I was a freshman at Ohio State. His foot wasn't even close. It was at the back of the end zone. It was far out. I was sitting right there. I'm like, they're calling that a touchdown? I was like, what?
I just remember running the option.
Didn't throw the challenge flag.
I remember running the option. I remember running the option against Tennessee on that last play that really mattered, involved going. I think Matt Calhoun. It went off his face mask because they hadn't run the option all year, and then boom, they pull that out
into his ear hole.
Well, it was like Coop against when he had Greg Fry run the option one year.
Yeah, against 1990.
Fourth down. They would have won the game. He has Greg Fry running the option on fourth down.
Benote would still be running.
This game can do some weird things at weird times.
It can.
And as my dad used to say, if you want that splotch taken out of the tie, he's got a great scissors for you.
There you
That'll
go.
take it right out. That stain. And it's a horrible analogy, but I'll make it anyway. It's like a guy, the national title versus, winning the regular season rival game. It's like a guy, would you rather win the Masters and miss the cut in every other tournament that year? Probably so, because they can never take that away. And I think that's probably for a coach, that's where it's at. But, boy, he needs this one. Just He just needs it in a lot of ways. Not to win a natty, but he needs it. All right, we're going to come back, and we'll talk to our man, Scotty Vegas, find out where the spread is right now and where the smart money is. This is the Curtis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid right here on The Fan.
It's Rivalry Week, and dare I say the most rivalist one ever. Me Talk Pretty.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Toyota-thon is on, and there's no better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota. Like the family-size Highlander and the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Now through December 1st, you can get 4.75 APR financing on any remaining new 25 Highlander or Grand Highlander, including hybrid models, with approved credit through TFS. Plus, you get Toyota Care 2 years, no-cost maintenance. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing mountain dew. So give me my good friends, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Taking out the trash. Hey, Columbus, this is Zach Bourne. And Jacoby Bourne. When it comes to waste service, you want a team that knows how to deliver under pressure, just like Saturdays in the fall.
At Bourne Brothers Waste Services, our team is built on toughness, teamwork, and consistent execution.
We're the most reliable and customer service-focused waste company in Central Ohio.
Whether it is recycling, trash, construction waste, roll-off containers, front loads, or compactors, we have it handled.
Call now or visit BourneBrothers.com and let us tackle your waste needs. Taking out the trash.
When it comes to your financial game plan, make the winning play with Mutual Federal, your community bank now open in Columbus. From checking and savings to business accounts and home loans, our local team is here to help you move the ball down the field towards your financial goals. Don't sit on the sidelines. Bank with a team that's part of your community and always rooting for you. Mutual Federal, a division of First Bank Richmond, doing great things together. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Rothman and Ice.
Stepdad used to pull me on my skateboard from the back of his motorcycle. Were you going double knee pads? No pads. Oh, you were
kidding? Were you wearing
a
helmet?
No.
What?
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Ohio Heating and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Bring the energy. It's game day, Buckeye fans. You're listening to the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis & Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
All right, like many massive games, they become highly bet games. And in the series, taking the points lately has been probably a pretty profitable thing for a lot of people. And so the interesting thing about this is that it hasn't gone crazy, but it has somewhat crossed a key number for a lot of people. We welcome in our man, Scotty Vegas, handicapper to the stars. My man, great to see you, especially today.
Yeah, here we go. Let's do it, Anthony.
Ohio State has been, I would say, fairly a cover machine this year. If depending on where you got the Bobcat game, and obviously the Purdue game, they didn't cover. But what would that make? 9-1-1?
9-1-1. Yeah.
Unless you're counting the OU as a loss, which some people obviously had to take the L there. But they've been a cover machine. You've seen this spread now open across that key number, but it's come down. Give us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so when it opened up on Sunday morning, we were looking at it, and Ohio State was a 12.5-point favorite. Money started coming in on Michigan. We've seen it as low now as 9.5. Right now, I just left that kiosk about 45 seconds before I came on here, and that kiosk said Ohio State -10 at the very moment. And the other thing is the total has come down a little bit, too. Right now, you're seeing the total at 43.5. One of the weird things, Anthony, in this whole series series is how many games we've seen go over the total lately. In fact, 9 out of the last 10 times the total has gone over. So that's kind of an interesting stat. The last year was the streak ender, because it was 9 in a row that went over, and then last year it went under.
I wonder if that's because you have offenses saving things for this game. I think of Jim Tressel. I know he doesn't factor into that stat you gave, but he came into that game. Was it the 05 game? One of those games he came in and they just came up 5 wide. And no, they didn't do that at all that year, and it worked. It worked. He would always do something different against Michigan. So I wonder
he did that in 01, man. People don't. He spread the field.
And then he did, even though that's a good point. Even though we remember Jonathan Wells going off for those 3 touchdowns, and then getting the cramps, couldn't play again.
Hang on, Sloopy at that point.
He needed to drink some pickle juice before the game. But I wonder if that's a function of these offenses kind of saving things, holding things back, or if it's just a fluke.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, we assume, right, that weather is going to play a factor in a lot of these games in November too. And looking at last year's game, right, we expected that to be a high-scoring game because of Ohio State's offense, and it ended up being a very low-scoring game.
We expected Ohio State to score a lot.
Yes, we did. In fact, people sadly are going to remember Ohio State was a 19.5-point favorite last year and lost outright, which went against every single trend, because in this series, typically the teams, if you're a significant favorite, you win the game. In fact, since the last 20 years, whenever you've had a team that was a 10-point favorite or more, that favorite has gone on to win the game.
It reminded me so much of the 1996 game. I mean, the score was almost exactly the same, where it was like, man, Ohio State just kept shooting themselves in the foot, and then you had the spring slips play. Ohio State lost that game 13-9. They lost last year 13-10. It was just so reminiscent of that 1996
But I remind everybody, the reason Ohio State lost that game, it wasn't because of the tie streets and the Sean Spring slip. That made it 9-7.
Right.
They didn't score touchdowns when they had a chance in the first half. Touchdowns are the premium coin when it comes to this game.
Like you were saying earlier.
And they got shut out in the second half.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to ask you, Scott. Are you a big-time gambler? How would you describe yourself?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, don't let him lie.
For a game like this, if you could have one piece of information that would be, pardon the expression, gold to you, just one piece going into the game, what would it be?
There's no question it's player availability, right? And I know one thing is, like, okay, we expect Tate to play, right? How many plays does he play, right? So that's the most.
Play. How many does he play?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Those two things.
Too, though.
We saw last week when we were looking at the Ohio State-Rutgers line, and we found out Jeremiah Smith and Carnell were going to be out for that game, and that moved the line 4 points.
Yes.
Right? So it went from a 32-point spread to 28 points, and then it kind of tinkered around there a little bit. But and Ohio State still covered the game.
Right.
Didn't throw the ball, ran the ball a lot, and still were able to cover the game. But availability, how much they're going to play, that to me is the biggest thing in the betting world.
Guys, I feel like we buried the lead here a little bit. Scotty has a massive bet on the line today.
I do.
One of the sportsbook managers here at the beautiful Hollywood Casino here in Columbus is a diehard Michigan fan. We had him on the money last Sunday. Justin Schmoose.
Yep.
And he's a really good guy, other than one thing. He's a diehard Michigan fan, like I said. Other than that, good guy. So Scotty and him have this big bet. Whoever loses the game, so if Michigan loses, Scotty gets to put pie in Justin's face.
Yes.
And then Justin has to sing Hang On Sloopy and Buckeye Battle Cry.
Yep.
Now, this won't happen.
Now, this is with the spread, correct?
No, this is straight up.
Took him straight
up.
Straight up.
He
And
had, he had to be shamed into it because he didn't want to do it at first, and Scotty shamed him into it. Like
I got a text from him yesterday.
Probably deserved more than one pie in the face.
What happens to you, just in case?
Here's the thing.
Pie.
This
Pie
is
in
not
the
going to happen.
face.
Okay.
Pie in the face, and then he'd have to sing Hail to the Victors and Mr. Brightside.
Yes, right here at the Sportsbook, which, by the way, I'm told they sold out of tables long ago. They're expecting a packed house. There's going to be an environment in here that's going to be crazy.
There will
be crazy.
There will be people coming out of the high-limit room just to watch that.
Yes. So, yes, there will be a pie in the face. Hopefully it's a pie in Justin's
Would you
face.
have made the same bet with the spread?
No, absolutely not. No. In fact, Justin texted me last night. He's like, why didn't we do points?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I wouldn't have done the bet at points.
Like,
So
why are you asking me now, not when we made the bet?
Do you think that this 9.5 or 10 What's baked into that when it comes to Jeremiah and Carnell in your mind?
So I think that, we saw that the line came out initially at 12.5, right? And then there were kind of the question marks on the injuries and all that stuff, and I think that's brought it down a couple points. The team total, by the way, for the teams, if you are looking at the Vegas line, Ohio State's team total is 27.5. So, and then Michigan's is 16.5. So those are the numbers. Vegas is expecting this to be a 28-17 type football game. Michigan, by the way, guys, has not been good against the spread this year. They're 4-7 against the spread. They've had 6 overs, 5 unders. Again, Ohio State 9-1-1 against the spread, 4 unders, 7 overs on the season. And I got a number for you guys I want you to guess. I always like to put you guys on the spot with a guess. And here's what I want. So before the season started, there was a look-ahead line on Ohio State, Michigan. Obviously, we knew that the game was going to be in Ann Arbor.
That's right.
Before the season started, what do you think the betting line on Ohio State, Michigan was?
15. That's my guess.
15. You thought
8.5 Ohio State.
Anthony?
Where were they ranked preseason?
Before the season started.
Before the season.
Yeah, that's what that's the only thing I was checking.
Right
around the
around
same.
20th?
Right around the same as what they are now.
Yeah.
Michigan was actually a 5.5-point underdog before the season.
Wow.
So if you're looking at look-ahead lines, this line has moved about a touchdown from the start of the season.
So I just looked it up real fast just to check it out. In the AP poll, Ohio State was 3 preseason, ironically behind Texas and Penn State. And Michigan was 14.
Oh,
and
wow.
They're 15 today. So
That's pretty good.
Betting angle I want to talk to you guys about today while you're watching the game. Okay. Julian's saying right now 4-1 to win the Heisman Trophy. Mendoza's even money, and we've seen a big jump from Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love's up to plus 225 to win the Heisman. If you're watching this game and you see Julian saying start to go off a little bit, like Ohio State, I think there's an absolute opportunity at 4-1 in game. If you can get it in game at that number, I think there's still good value on Julian saying, because you look at Mendoza last night.
Right.
The team won. Indiana won big. Stats weren't huge.
Nope.
Right? And then we're looking at Indianapolis next week. We're going to have that head-to-head showdown.
I'm telling you.
I still think Mendoza right now is in the driver's seat. But at 4-1, if Sayin has a good game today, that number changes significantly.
Next
Watch
week,
that in game.
Next week could be so huge.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's what's going to happen. The Ohio State also takes care of business today, because I've just had that feeling, just like in 2006 when Michigan and Ohio State were just headed at each other, like I said, like 2 oil tankers in the Suez Canal.
Yes.
They couldn't avoid the fact of getting there undefeated.
So I will tell you
this game
this.
has that same idea to
I will
me.
tell you this. Before the Indiana-Purdue game last night, saying on a cash out in some places was somewhere around, I would say, 10%, 15% cash out. That did go up after the Indiana-Purdue game. This game hasn't even been played yet today, but it's gone up a little bit, maybe 5%.
Yeah, because if he comes out and he throws 3 or 4 touchdown passes, Ohio State wins the game over an elite team, right? Then you're looking at the numbers moving significantly. Now, I was all confident, guys. Last night, I was like, all right, this is the year. The 4 in a row, done, whatever. Then I go and I drive to that Ohio State Pitt basketball game in Pittsburgh last night.
I already told Paul not to talk about this.
And I went through a deja vu that you guys would not believe. I drive to the game. I'm driving back. And, of course, Pitt hits a game-winning 3-point shot in my face again, right in front of my face.
A Harbinger, huh?
Yes.
Harbinger?
Just like last year.
So,
all right, best bet today?
I'm going to go with the team total for Ohio State over 27.5. I think Ohio State gets to 28.
If they even get to 20, I think it's lights out for Michigan. I don't see Michigan scoring 20.
That's the thing, right? Like, this is where a game, I think, live in-game betting is huge. Because if Ohio State gets out to a little bit of a lead, I don't see Michigan catching up. Like,
listen,
if Ohio State gets a 2-touchdown lead, I think it's over.
Secretly, I'm praying for an in-game bet. I'm praying Michigan scores something first. A 3.
Well, don't be doing that.
No, for the bet.
Just for the betting purposes.
No, for the spread, for it to come down.
Normally, I would agree
You don't
with
think
that.
there would be value to that?
There would be value, yes. If Michigan scores first and this
on a
line
money
comes
line
under a
bet
touchdown.
or a money line bet on Ohio State.
Yeah. I'm with you. The live in-game betting is something that's underrated. People like to do these huge parlays, put together these long tickets. I like to call them CVS receipts that print out of these kiosks, and they're crazy long. When the value might just be watching the game, seeing what's going on, and taking the value in-game. Dave, I know you're great at that.
I don't know if I'm great at it. I do. I do like it though.
All right,
Ohio State has come from behind a couple
We got to let him go back to the kiosk. All right. Thanks, my friend.
Thank you.
Great job.
Scotty.
We'll come back with the keys to the game on the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show right here on the Fan.
It's finally here. Rivalry Week.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
We're talking about the Buckeyes and meat chicken all damn week. Join us, the Fan.
Toyota-thon is on, and there's no better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota. Now through December 1st, get 2.99 APR financing on remaining new 25 Tacomas. Excludes TRD Pro and Trail Hunter. Or lease a well-equipped 25 Tacoma SR5 for $259 a month for 39 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, football fans, it's November in Ohio, and you know what that means. It's time to face that state up north in a battle to claim forgotten funds. Join us in the statewide challenge and visit com.ohio.gov/radio to help support Ohio's takedown of Michigan. The state with the most searches wins. Who knows? Unclaimed funds could help you buy a seat to the big game next year. Claim your money today at com.ohio.gov/radio.
The Ohio State University Army ROTC isn't just a curriculum. It's more than just a path to a degree. For more than 150 years, we have been forging tomorrow's leaders. Here you will find your purpose, your mission, your ROTC family. At Ohio State, you're not just joining Army ROTC, you're stepping into a history of excellence that spans generations. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu. Buckeyes lead the way.
Timmy Hall here, proud to be back for my 4th year supporting Nationwide Children's Hospital and Light Up the Lawn, Light Up a Life. The holidays can be tough for kids and families spending it in the hospital. So now through December 31st, more than 100 giant illuminated butterflies will shine on the hospital lawn, each one sparkling to life with every single donation. When patients see those butterflies glow, they'll know their community's thinking of them, sending waves of hope and joy. So let's do this together. Let's light up the lawn and light up a life. Donate now at nationwidechildrens.org/give.
Hey Columbus, it's Lorenzo Stiles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. Football runs deep in my family. My dad played here, and now my brother and I are proud to carry on that tradition. At Monogram Homes, family matters too. They treat every homeowner like one of their own, building with care, precision, and pride. Monogram doesn't just build houses, they build homes, crafted just for you. So whether you're starting your first home or designing your dream space, Monogram Homes has got your back every step of the way. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
In Columbus, how you roll up on game day matters. And with Polestar are redefining the driving experience. The Polestar 3 isn't just an electric SUV. It's an SUV that drives like a sports car. Precise, powerful, silent enough to hear the crowd before you see the stadium. Drive it today at Polestar Columbus or visit polestarcolumbus.com for a test drive and to learn about our competitive lease offers.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
This game day update is sponsored by Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Colt Bartemus. We've been waiting all season long for 12 o'clock on November 29th, and we are almost there. Only a little bit of sand left in that hourglass until number 1 Ohio State and number 15 Michigan kick off the newest chapter of the game. We got pregame coverage right here on the Fan all morning leading into the game. If you missed it last night, there were 3 ranked matchups in college football before Saturday even started. There was a big one in Austin as number 16 Texas delivered number 3 Texas A&M their first loss of the season. Texas now sits at 9-3, and we'll have to see how the committee handles them. And because A&M A&M loss. That opens the door for number 4 Georgia to play in the SEC championship game following their 16-9 victory over number 23 Georgia Tech last night. Low-scoring affair, but the Bulldogs controlled the entire game. And in the duel in the desert, number 25 Arizona finishes 9-3 after taking down number 20 Arizona State.
Don't that feel good when your crowd behind you? You know what I'm saying?
You're listening to the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis and Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. It's time for the keys to the game.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, welcome back, Hollywood Casino Columbus. You know, we were talking about Michigan and what they are and what they aren't. And, you know, yeah, I know they blew Maryland out, Dave, but, you know, if you watched it, I mean, Maryland opened that game with a 20-yard run untouched. And then they converted a 4th and goal at the 1 and scored first on a play action in traffic. And then Maryland decided to try an onside kick and then didn't get it. But I love the fact that they punched them in the mouth early. Now, Maryland wasn't the team that could sustain that over 4 quarters, but it's given me incredible confidence that Ohio State could certainly do the same. You have to make them throw it. I don't care how you do it, you make them throw it. If you get burned enough, then you adjust. But Michigan has 5 red zone touchdown passes this year compared to Ohio State's 19. It's not even funny. It's not even close. The edge of kicker, I'm going to give that to Ohio State just on the percentages. I wouldn't know what situation.
Which is crazy.
Win and all that, we don't know.
Michigan's kicker hasn't been, awful this year, but he's been way, way, way worse than he was last year. He might have had the best season for a collegiate kicker that I can remember. He was 21 of 22 last year. I believe he was 7 of 7 on kicks from 50 yards or more, and he was just absolute money. He's been a little erratic
You know
this
what he
year.
is from 30 to 39 this year, Zapta?
Not very good,
He's
right?
3 of 6.
But here's the thing, on a day like today, too, with kickers,
you don't know.
You just got to make your next kick, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, the wind's going to be a little bit of a factor there. He's supposed to be out of the south-southeast. So, theoretically, if you're going to the north, you might have a little bit more of an advantage in kicking it. So all kinds of factors come into it, not just what a kicker's done. But you're right. Batting average is batting average.
So the other key, listen, we talk about throwing the football, throwing to run. It's part of it. Ohio State has thrown for 1,150 more yards this season. 1,150 more than them. That's 73 yards per game more than Michigan. And the touchdown to interception ratio is the Grand Canyon. It's 34-6 versus 9-6.
Jeez.
It's not even right. They're not even the same neighborhood. Now the key also that we've talked about earlier, and Urban Meyer has said this a couple times this week on The Fan, that if he was the Michigan coach, and he's done this with quarterbacks, you are running the football today. I'm getting 10 hats blocking for you, and I don't care if what I do to you, you're running.
I expect
he
that.
said
that's the most Urban Meyer thing ever.
Really
I'm going to run the quarterback
into
25
the ground.
That was his default. That was Urban Meyer's default button.
Right.
Definitely.
Now, Michigan does have a 6'4", 230-pound quarterback. He's obviously, he had a really good passing day against Northwestern in the game they escaped. But they're completing it about 61%. He can sail it. He should have been picked at Maryland. But I think the key, if you force him to put it in the air, at some point today, something good is going to happen for Ohio State. If he does run it, and now he's not run it that much. Like Urban said, he's got to get double-digit carries. I'd run him 20 times. So I checked. He's not run it 10 this year.
No.
He's been close, but he hasn't even done that. So that would be almost a 100% jump from his best this year. And I do admit this is a go-get-it type of game. So I'm not taking Sayin off the hook either. If you can go get it, he's got to go get it. I think that's the marching orders of this game.
Agreed.
It's a go-get-it kind of game, and you got to play off script.
Yeah, and I asked Ryan Day about this earlier this week. I was like, the balance of playing loose in big games, not playing reckless, but playing loose. Is that easier said than done? Not playing tight, because against Michigan, they were very tight last year. And then the opposite end of that spectrum was when they played Oregon in the Rose Bowl. They came out there. They weren't reckless by any means, but they took it to them. And that's what Ohio State needs to do today. They need to find a way. And again, it's easier said than done. We're going to play loose. It's like, well, with all the pressure on you, easier said than done. They have to find a way to do that. Play loose, not reckless.
What they did against Oregon was a great textbook on how to just shock and awe a team. with the wide screen to G. Scott to begin the game, and then Jeremiah Smith on that crossing thing where Michigan or Oregon was slow on the pickup, and suddenly Jeremiah Smith's got the ball in his hands. The key for Ohio State today, if Jeremiah Smith can play, is get the ball in his hands. He's one of the great offensive players in the country, number one. Number two, like you said, I asked Ryan about the idea, do you just feel like in these games the quarterback has to make a play that's off script, not recklessly, but has to make some plays. That makes a difference. Like we said, Art Schleicher following Von Brodnax in 1981 up there. There was snow, I think, on the sidelines. It kind of has the same kind of feel, but supposedly you ran the play to the wrong side. But the bottom line is they scored.
Just get behind Vaughn, you're good to go.
Yeah,
It's like
my point,
2000. Go ahead.
My point is your quarterback has got to feel free to play the game but not be stupid about it. And I think he feels really good about Julian being able to run the ball a little bit if he has to, because that's going to be there. Michigan's going to be so keen on these two wide receivers. They both line up today. They're going to be so keen of taking them out of the game. There could be a lot of green out there for Julian Sain to take advantage of.
The phrase that I like to use to these guys is be an athlete.
Yeah.
Like, you're an athlete. Be one.
Troy Smith.
Instinctual.
Troy Smith 20 years ago, so almost to the day, in Michigan Stadium. Buckeyes are down 2 scores in the fourth quarter. He leads them on a touchdown drive. Santonio Holmes gets a touchdown. Buckeyes get the ball back. Deep in their own territory, he leads them down. What's the famous play? The catch to Anthony Gonzalez. But Troy, and that was a great catch by Gonzo. Troy did a great job.
Great scramble.
Keeping that play alive. Yeah, that's what you guys
step up and out.
You have to be able to make a play like that. Julian's going to have to do something special today, most likely. And I do think, I don't want to contradict myself, because I do think Ohio State's going to win this game if they do, based on their defense. But so that means Julian doesn't have to play great, but he can't play poorly. If Julian plays good, I think Ohio State's going to win this game because the defense is the best unit.
Don't take chances you don't have to take. Be smart about it. I think he's been pretty smart about that.
Definitely.
By the way, that step up and out by Troy Smith on that play, first time he tried that against Florida, one of those big defensive tackles just hammered him. I mean,
nothing really worked that day after the opening kickoff.
Urban and company scouted that thing.
Lost a little momentum.
Yeah, I told Urban after 24. He kind of laughed. Urban is. I was like, okay, you finally made up for 2006. He kind of looked at me like, okay,
yeah. Listen, Michigan, where they feel, if they feel they do have an advantage, they like to run. And even though they've rushed for about 600 more yards than Ohio State, they do have a knack for leading the Big Ten in rushing touchdowns. They can run it. I mean, their main guy, though, Justice Haynes, he was 7 yards a pop, as we talked about earlier.
He was so good.
He was well over 100 yards in 6 of their 7 games. And this Bryson Cusdahl, he's a junior, he's 5'11", he's 210. Here's what I would look for early also, if Michigan is going to throw any kind of weird wrinkle, is they'll split him out. They'll put him on screens. They'll try to get Bryce Underwood some easy throws wide to maybe get outside the box a little bit. But they'll run Cusdahl between the tackles, and then they'll probably try to take their shots to
what I've been waiting all year to see Ohio State do is jump one of those wide screens.
That's why I'm putting it out there, because I think it'll happen early in the game.
I get the feeling Patricia's been saving a lot for this game. We all, and I'm guilty of it too, we think about, what's the offense been saving? I think the defense, I think Ohio State's defense, you guys alluded to this earlier with Arvell Reese the last couple of weeks, kind of put him on ice. You don't need to show too much. You also don't want to get guys hurt. I think they're going to – I mean, look how much they confused Arch Manning in that first game. I think Bryce Underwood's going to get confused and rattled today.
Absolutely. That's going to be the aim. We'll see if it happens. But the other thing is Chuck, you got to take care of Nitton on the inside. I mean, Caden McDonald, Edric Houston, Will Smith Jr., Tywan Malone, they are so key to this game and making it play the way Ohio State would like for it to play, meaning not just stopping the run, but bringing pressure through the A-gap area. It changes everything.
The aim is to put them in a position to make him have to throw their way back.
Yes.
And if that happens, then Ohio State should have a pretty good edge. Keys to the game sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. All right, when we come back, we'll do a final check-in with Paul Keels, give some score predictions, and we'll wrap it up. It is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places right here on The Fan.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan.
Hi, Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Coming up, more football talk on The Fan.
That's right, Bob. And just like our hometown team, Worthington Jewelers is all about tradition, family, and winning moments.
Celebrate your victories with us, your hometown jeweler, Worthington Jewelers.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Millions of fans agree. This Christmas tradition rocks. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting The Ghost of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more. December 23rd, 2 shows, Nationwide Arena. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestra. A portion of the proceeds benefits the James and Heather Pick Music Program.
It's Happy Honda Days and Black Friday savings together at your main Honda of Dublin. Strike now because through December 1st, get 0% APR up to 60 months on new Hondas. And you're even going to get 90 days until your first payment on both new and used vehicles. Rich has hundreds of vehicles in stock. The selection has never been better. It's your main Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270. In-stock units only, not valid on prior sales. With approved credit, must qualify through primary lender. See dealer for details.
We're back to football talk, but before we kick off, a quick thanks to Bob and the team at Worthington Jewelers.
Thanks, Common Man. Whether it's game day or every day, we're here to help you celebrate life's biggest moments.
Worthington Jewelers, your hometown jeweler.
What he said.
Ooh, winter's coming. And when the wind starts to blow, don't come inside to the cold. Open the door to peace of mind with your Waterworks and Header Precision Furnace Tune-Up and Energy Savings Plan. Your furnace is the heart of your home, and Waterworks and Header will have yours running at peak performance throughout the winter. Plus, you'll save on those energy bills too. Go to waterworks.com and schedule your furnace tune-up online. Waterworks and Header, heating, cooling, and plumbing, together to serve you better.
At Kemba Financial Credit Union, we care about you. Consumers like you say they don't want monthly fees for checking, and we listen. Introducing hassle-free checking with no monthly service fee. Use it as an easy place to deposit and transfer your money, along with your everyday banking needs. Plus, Kemba's expansive digital banking services make it easy for you to bank how you want. At Kemba, we're always thinking of ways to put you and your finances first. Visit Kemba.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Restrictions apply.
When you need a mini excavator or a not-so-mini excavator, lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. With the largest rental fleet and hardest working equipment experts in Columbus, we can help you take a big step toward a mini excavator in one of 17 different sizes, from 2,000 to 18,000-pound machines, with 6 to 24 feet of reach and 5 to 15 feet digging depth. Though in the most rental locations, and it's no wonder the Columbus builders who are building Columbus lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. Learn more at sunbeltrentals.com.
Drive your dream car home today, no matter your credit history. Hey, it's Phil here at Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall. We proudly accept all credit types, good, bad, or none. Get pre-approved in minutes and hit the road with confidence. Get your new ride today. Call 614-861-7150 or shop our huge selection online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com. Your perfect ride is credit ready and waiting at Capital Ford of Columbus.
Austin and Berm are back with a new daily podcast, the ultimate OSU football insiders. You know, it's refreshing to have some smart people working here from time to time.
The Beat with Austin and Berm on the 10 TV Plus app.
Subscribe today. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see sunshine to start in some spots with increasing clouds throughout the day and then chances of snow showers later with highs in the upper 30s. For tonight, the snow chances develop overnight with possibly some mixing with rain. Lows right around the freezing mark and breezy winds could see a little bit of accumulation. As we go into Sunday, chances of rain and snow persist, and then that ends by early afternoon, otherwise cloudy with our highs near the 40s and gusty winds. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with the 10 Weather Impact forecast.
Drop what you're doing unless you're doing nothing, then keep doing that. It's Rivalry Week.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
Go Bucks beat Michigan. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis and Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your forever flagship home of Ohio State Athletics. The Fan.
All right, I think we're right on around the 2-hour mark till actual kickoff. Paul Keels' final check-in, sponsored by Byers Imports. Byers Imports, Hamilton Road by the airport. All right, Big Daddy, lay it on us. What's coming up?
Well, Anthony, what we've got coming up, as always, we'll hear from both head coaches, Ryan Day from Ohio State and Michigan coach Sharon Moore. James Laurinaitis, linebackers coach, will talk about how his group has played and how they prepare for this game. Tyler Danberg will talk with former Ohio State quarterback Mike Tomczak about being part of this great rivalry. We'll hear from Jerry Emick, the longtime sports information director, who is retiring at the end of this season. Really, he was retiring in the spring, but his final football season in that role with Ohio State. Brian Bush from the Michigan Radio Network, a Medina, Ohio native, will give us a scouting report on the Wolverines. And as always, we'll have our award-winning, world-famous Bo and Woody 10-year war, leftover turkey, across the state line dispensaries, ring the victory bell, bad expensive food version of Buckeye Flashback with Hall of Famer Skip Mossick. That's coming up shortly.
Beautiful. Looking forward to it, Paul. Thank you very much, man.
Have
a great
care,
call.
Guys.
Thanks. It's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels. So this has got payback all written all over it because of who Ohio State has been this year and who Michigan maybe isn't this year. However, they do have obviously something to play for. Their record tells us that. But it also feels like there's just a lot. There's so much pent up, man, in this balloon that somebody's got to just take that needle to it because
Pinata.
And I've mentioned this a couple times this week. You know, I know the Stallions thing is old news, but it is a part of the streak.
Oh, yeah.
And it's something that certainly Ohio State had the chance to right that wrong last year and didn't do it. And so that's there. The other part of this is certainly the fact that Ryan Day, as great as he's been record-wise, has struggled against his rival, and he's had the better team. And so that weighs on them. But I come back to what I said earlier in the program. Either the mental edge has been so transcendent to each class over there now that even these young guys in the offensive line, the redshirt freshman, the freshman quarterback, the freshman receiver who's been counted on now, the backup running backs, either they're so youthful they won't feel the pressure, or on the positive side actually feel like we don't lose this game anymore, or that youth is just going to drag them down today somewhere against a great Ohio State team. So your thoughts, Dave, on that conundrum of the mental edge that hangs over this game for Ohio State, yet the fact they know they have the better team today on paper.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I'm a huge believer that the mental side of sports is massive. I used to laugh when I was a kid and coaches would say, oh, sports is 90% mental and 10% physical. I still don't think it's 90% mental, but I'm certainly not laughing at that anymore. It's huge. But I do think having Matt Patricia mitigates that. He doesn't have any of this baggage. He knows he's got the best unit in the country against a one-dimensional defense, but it's a real thing. If Ohio State gets down early, they could pucker a little bit. They definitely puckered last year. But if Ohio State, I keep saying this, if they can find a way to get a 2-score lead in the first half, I mean, it won't be for sure Michigan's going to lose the game, but I think it's pretty much going to be lights out for the Wolverines if they get down by 2 points. They're just not the type of offense that's built to come from behind. So, yeah, that's definitely a thing. If you're a Buckeye fan, you're going to be nervous until you're not, right? But you wouldn't have a pulse if you're not a little nervous right now as a Buckeye fan. But I would say focus on this defense. That should give you some comfort knowing that the best defense in the country is going up there against a very one-dimensional offense.
Bottom line is you got to finish. Ohio State did not finish last year. They got one of the great plays in game history from Jack Sawyer when he came off and caught the tight end coming across on that shallow route and pops up out of nowhere, and there's the interception. They didn't do anything with the football, and then Michigan wins the game. Bottom line is you got to finish. That's what Ohio State has been pushing all year. Take care of the routine stuff, finish. I've liked the way Ryan Day has brought this team along, especially this week, because you don't want them fired up on Tuesday in the sense of getting ready for the game. You want them fired up right about now and from now until kickoff, that's when you want to bring the heat up in the boiler. And I really have liked his approach, and I really like how candid he was the other day when I asked him about the flying up there and back, which they haven't done recently, but they've done in the past a long time ago. But the bottom line is, he goes, they're into like sticking routine, et cetera. And he goes, and about changing the flying thing, he goes, hey, the last 4 years, what we did didn't work.
Yeah.
Why not do something a little bit different, but not way out of the ordinary? They stuck to the ordinary on the way they take a trip. The longest trip they took all year was to Washington. They flew. The shortest they've taken this year is going to be was to Ann Arbor today. So we'll see if it works. We'll see if they bust next week when they go to Indianapolis.
That's an easy drive over to Indy.
Yeah, but I love that. I just think Ohio State, I look at it, guys, I look at it playing. You don't know what's going to happen in a game. Ohio State is the better team right now in almost every facet. If that holds sway, if it's chalk, Ohio State wins comfortably.
I wonder what the point spread would be if the last 4 years, let's say it wasn't even 4-0 Ohio State, but it was 2-2. So the 0-4 thing wouldn't be a thing. These exact same teams.
You're right.
I bet you Ohio State would be favored by like 13 or 14.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, because they're clearly the better team.
You think that's baked into the spread, the mental part?
It has to be a little bit.
I do think so. Yeah, you don't?
Well, when handicappers set these spreads, I don't know if they're considering rosters of previous teams and like the history of it. I think they're X and O'ing it on, like Scotty said, on availability and where the game's being played, weather, totals, things like that.
I think those are the major factors.
It's
I think it's a factor.
It's hard to factor in that.
It is, except these teams have been different off and on throughout the last previous 4 years, and Michigan has still held sway. You have to have. You have to take some of that mojo into account.
Betting, I mean, where the money comes in, that'll move the line. Right. So to your point, if the public is buying into that, then the handicappers have to adjust.
Correct.
The books have to
Which
adjust
they
that.
have,
but the opening line,
it opened at 12.5.
Well, then that's by the way, that's your answer.
Yeah.
That's what they really think. That's what Las Vegas really thinks. But they had to move it based on all the money coming in on Michigan plus 12.5.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. So they did take it into account to a certain extent. But yeah,
they have
the
to
line
at that
moves.
point.
The line moves itself actually after you said it.
Yeah, no, I thought you guys were asking like, what would it be if we took in we didn't take in any bets yet? What they would think.
Right.
And I think the answer is 12.5.
And you didn't have past history.
Maybe even more than that.
Yeah, maybe.
It may be up to 14.
If these teams were playing in a dome, if these teams were playing at Ford Field today instead of Ann Arbor and Michigan Stadium, I think Ohio State would be a clear, comfortable favorite.
Michigan's defense has 12 picks this year. That's not nothing. It's something that if they were able to live up to that part of it, if you said Julian had a deflected pass or something that went Michigan's way, that would lean into something not intangible. It's almost like they need it, Michigan, to try to stay in this game. Tim, your final
score. I'm backing off from my earlier thoughts. I'm going to Ohio State 28-13.
Oh, I'm very close, and I wrote it down so you know I'm not lying to you. I have Ohio State 27, Michigan 13, and Anthony also has Ohio State 27, Michigan 13. Oh, jeez. Great minds think alike.
2 field goals for both.
I had 31-20 earlier in the week, but I backed off because of the weather thing.
We're backing off a little. Timmy, enjoy it. Be safe.
Absolutely.
Dave Biddle, great job. Dan the Man, outstanding. To Mr. Chris, Scotty Vega, Chanel number 5, TLC in the booth. Thank you all. Buckeye Nation, enjoy it and keep it locked right here on The Fan.
Rivalry week, and dare I say the most rivalist one ever. Me Talk Pretty.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Tailgates are better when your ride's rocking. Columbus Car Audio and Accessories upgrades your sound, tints your ride, and adds the extras to make your ride the ultimate game day machine.
Toyotathon is on. Get in the spirit of the season with a new Toyota. Now through December 1st, get $3,000 customer cash on remaining new 25 Tundras. Or get 0.99 APR financing plus $1,000 TFS APR cash. With approved credit through TFS, excludes TRD Pro, APR cash must be applied to deal. And every new Toyota comes with 2 years no-cost maintenance. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. At Key, we're all about helping our neighbors. As your bank, we understand that we have both the ability and the responsibility to help our neighbors thrive. Whether they're trying to buy a car to take them to their new job, or tackle debt that feels unmanageable, or simply trying to do more with what they have. KeyBank is there to meet them in that moment. KeyBank opens doors.
All credit products are subject to credit approval. KeyBank, member FDIC. Ride off, then write off when you take advantage of the year-end tax break offers at Bobcat Enterprises. Right now, Bobcat has 0% financing for 60 months on compact tractors. Use tax code deductions to maximize your reinvestment power and gain a competitive edge for 2026. Plus, you can lease, finance, or directly purchase equipment and still apply for the tax deduction. Stop by Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, or Zanesville, or see our full line of products at bobcatent.com today. Offer expires 12/31/25.
This holiday, give a gift that changes everything. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Our family's helped couples celebrate love for over 78 years. From timeless solitaires to custom designs that reflect your unique story, our in-house jewelers ensure every detail shines. And with our guaranteed best price, you can shop with confidence, knowing your forever piece is as exceptional as your love. This holiday, make her wish come true with the Diamond Cellar ring, because the only thing better than unwrapping a little blue box is saying yes to forever.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. The holidays are here, and if you've got a collector in your life, you have to check out Midwest Cards. Thousands of packs and boxes from Pokemon to every sport you can name. It's a full-on collector's dream. Plus, they have signed jerseys and memorabilia that'll make any fan go crazy. The variety is awesome, and the selection legendary. So swing by Midwest Cards today, grab an epic gift or even a gift card, and watch your favorite collector's face light up this holiday season. Get to Midwest Cards today and tell them T-Bone sent you.
Here's a stat that hurts. The average adult waits up to 2 years before getting help for joint or back pain. 2 years of sitting out. 2 years of missing the game. At Ortho Neuro, you don't have to wait. Our orthopedic and spine experts treat every joint issue, often without surgery, and we've got next-day appointments ready. Don't sit on the sidelines another day. Schedule your consult now at orthoneuro.com. Ortho Neuro, for every motion in life.
Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
My toilet's clogged, backed up too. The sink is running slow. Water's backed up everywhere. Oh, please don't overflow.
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. I'll clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee.
It's 93 or free.
Guaranteed. Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Warm up this winter by pushing a button with a remote car starter from Columbus Car Audio and Accessories. Step into a toasty and defrosted car and share the warmth with everyone on your shopping list. Beat winter weather with Columbus Car Audio and Accessories. Morse Road, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or Columbus